Welcome back to Market Headlines. President Jokowi as Coordinating Minister for Human Development and Culture of Indonesia, Muhadjir Effendi, to make policies that reduce the allowance for joint leave at the end of 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic.
In the limited meeting this week, President Jokowi asked his minister to make policies that reduce the allowance for joint leave at the end of 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. The President's direction was publicly informed by the Coordinating Minister for Human Development and Culture of Indonesia, Muhadjir Effendi, in a virtual press conference.
Yang berkaitan dengan masalah libur, cuti bersama akhir tahun, termasuk libur pengganti cuti bersama Hari Raya Idul Fitri, Bapak Presiden memberikan arahan supaya ada pengurangan dan beliau memerintahkan supaya segera ada rapat koordinasi yang dilakukan oleh Kemenko PMK dengan kementerian dan lembaga terkait, terutama yang berkaitan dengan masalah libur akhir tahun dan pengganti libur cuti bersama Idul Fitri.
The government previously decided to abolish the joint leave of Idul Fitri this year. This joint leave will initially be shifted at the end of December 2020. The consideration of reducing the long holiday allowance, which should have received 11 days, came from monitoring the development of the current COVID-19 case. Chairperson of the COVID-19 Handling Task Force, Doni Monardo, asked the government to shorten the long holiday in case of a spike in cases. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
And yes, viewers, recently the aviation industry has shown positive developments. Well, yes, they deserve it because apparently aviation industry is the most damaged industry because of COVID-19 pandemic. But the last positive sentiment immediately emerged, which the government plans to reduce the number of year-end holidays. Such a nightmare for the industry, isn't it? So long holiday is supposed to be a booster for the aviation industry. Moreover, the industry lately showed uptrend rather than downtrend. So viewers, how is the development of the number of passenger in air transportation so far? So let's take a look at the first graphic. Here it is through your screen. You can see the number of air transport passengers. Here it is. We can see the two indicators. First of all is domestic, and the second of all is the international. So let's take a look at the domestic first. As we can see, in January, there's a fresh air. So many transport passengers. As we can see, there were 6.2 million air transport passengers. Meanwhile, in February, it slightly decreased by 5.76%. By meaning of that, 5.79 million transport passenger. But however, in March and April, it got a steep decline by 0.84 million passengers only. And within September, here it is. It was 1.89 million transport passengers when we talk about the domestic air flight. And however, when we talk about the international flights, in January 2020, it was 1.6 million airport passengers. But it got a steep decline as well in May, and it has a break-even point with the domestic ones at the 0.01 million airport passengers. And then in September, the latest data that we can obtain is by 0.034 million air transport passengers. And the year-end holiday is believed to be able to boost passenger growth in the Christmas and the New Year periods. But however, the development of COVID-19 cases is the main reasons of the government to cut the year-end holidays. And nevertheless, the year-end holiday amid COVID-19 pandemic has not been completely eliminated. And this means an increase in the number of passengers still has the potential to occur. And therefore, the Ministry of Transportation has stated that it will continue to adhere the fulfillment of the health protocols on air transportations, whereas air transportation is expected to remain prioritizing public health and safety. And not only year-end holiday, the growth in the number of aircraft passengers is also influenced by a number of factors. One of them is the number of routes provided by the airline. So how many routes that have been available so far? Let's take it into the next graphic. And here it is through the next graphic. You can see the number of aircraft routes that is significantly occurred as the time goes by. Here it is, we can see the indicator within 2015 and it spanned to 2018. Within 3 years only, we can see significant differences in here. Well, when we talk about domestic route, we can see that in 2015, it reached 281 domestic routes. But however, within 3 years, we can see significant differences by 412 aircraft routes when we talk about domestic. And a step aside, when we talk about international routes, we can see that in 2015, the international routes hit 117 routes, but however, within only 3 years, the number emerged to be 170 routes when we talk about international aircraft routes. And these massive opening of the new routes must be hampered by COVID-19 pandemic, and many existing routes have to be temporarily suspended by the airlines. But however, optimism began to emerge, especially with the reactivations of the number of routes and increase in passenger numbers. And the level of flight seat filling is also important indicators. Whereas, for the example, the Global Aviation's Data Provided Agency, or OAG, revealed that the Soekarno-Hatta Airport was in a positive trend. And based on the OAG report, the available seat capacity of Soekarno-Hatta Airport in October 2020 was recorded around 2 million seats, or an increase of 0.2% compared to September 2020. And this figure has even reached around 57% from the positions in October 2019. And not only that, incentives were also provided for the aviation industry. One of them is implementations of exempting passenger service charges at the number of airports. So let's check the information in the next graphic. Through your screen, we can see the stimulus that is provided by the government when we talk about the free passenger service charge stimulus. And it's spread in 13 airports all across Indonesia. First of all, we can see Soekarno-Hatta, Halim Perdana Kusuma in Jakarta, Banyuwangi, Ahmad Yani in Semarang area, and Samratulangi in Manado City, and Yogyakarta, Kulon Progo, Adi Sucipto in Yogyakarta, Igusti Ngurah Rai in Denpasar, Bali, Kuala Namu in Medan, Hang Nadim in Batam, Lombok Praya, and Silangit in Tapanuli Utara, and also Komodo in Labuan Bajo. And these 13 airports has the stimulus when we talk about free passenger service charges. And as the chairman of Indonesia's National Air Carrier Associations, and yes, viewers, chairman of the Indonesian National Air Carriers Associations, Danon Prawira Atmaja, hopes that the implementations of the stimulus from the government regarding the exemptions of the passenger service charges as 13 airports until December 31st, 2020, there will be an increase in the number of aircraft passengers as well. And he even stated that the lower rates due to passenger service charge cut policy can be one of the main attractions for people to move back to vacations in the domestic area. And therefore, he asked the Port Health Office to initiate the process of digitizing the medical examinations results in line with the potential increase in year-end passengers. And regarding the potential increase in the number of passengers at the end of the year, what is the strategy of domestic airlines to seize this opportunity? So let's move on to the next graphic. Here it is. Through your screen, we can see on how airline strategy in welcoming the year-end holidays. First of all, we can take a look at the Garuda Indonesia strategy. First of all, apply various promotional rates, which is very cheap these days, and then open new road, which is Balikpapan to Tarakan, starting from November 21st, 2020. And the third one is that serve export cargo, which is Manado to Tokyo, Bali, and Hong Kong. And then moving on to the second aircraft, which is Lion Air. Lion Air has applied strategy for the first of all opening the new road from Surabaya to Ternate, which will start from November 23, 2020, and opening new road from Kupang to Ruteng and starting from November as well in 24th, 2020, and the new road from Kupang to Lewo Leba that's starting from November 30th, 2020. And the President Director of Garuda Indonesia, Irfan Setiaputra, stated that Garuda still prioritizes the aviation services over entering other business sectors, even though many foreign airlines have started to penetrate the non-aviation sector to survive the pandemic. And although so far he confirmed that the number of passengers growth has not returned to the pre-COVID-19 levels. Meanwhile, regarding the opening of the new road, a Lion Air Group corporate communication strategist Danang Mandala said that the company opened a new road after saying that there were still opportunities in the domestic aviation market, especially when welcoming the Christmas and New Year periods. And then, yes, viewers, hopefully the domestic aviation industry stakeholders maintain its continuous efforts and optimism to survive in this pandemic. Stay tuned with us because market headlines will be right back after this quick break.